Hey movie watchers, welcome to Moon Movie Review. I'm Travis Moon. I'm really excited to bring today's video to you guys. Today's video is the Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. I'm a huge fan of these Fast and Furious line of movies. If you knew me personally, you would know that I spent a lot of my time in my teenage years in and around the hot rod scene. I built a hot rod once myself with my father, and I spent a lot of time working on cars, riding motorcycles, that kind of thing. So I've always been a really big fan of the Fast and Furious line of movies, and this is obviously an extension of that line. So I'm really excited to talk about this and watch it with you guys. So let's go through it, let's watch it, let's see what we see. Anytime I see something, I'm going to hit pause and I'm going to talk about it for a minute. So let's check it out.
I'm dealing with the future of the planet. I'm the necessary shock to the system. I am human evolutionary change. Bulletproof.
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of Idris Elba, and I'm really glad that he's in it. He looks awesome. He looks like he's in great shape. So he basically just mentioned that he is the next stage of human evolution, but it looks like he's more like bioengineered. So he doesn't look like he was forced into this position. It looks like he chose this position. So I'm imagining that he's a really smart guy, and I imagine that he has figured out how to enhance his human capabilities, which he is calling the next step of evolution. It's really just bioengineering, human advancement, metahuman, superhuman, whatever you want to call it. But it looks cool, and it basically is going to automatically make him the villain, which I'm totally fine with. Idris Elba as a bad guy and kind of as a superhuman bad guy. Pretty cool. Let's continue.
Superhuman.
Who the hell are you?
Bad guy.
The mission has been compromised. We need help.
So they're obviously going to do a lot of this, this epic talk. Like the mission's been compromised. We need help. That kind of thing. To make it seem cool and way more badass than it actually is. Let's keep going.
Our target's name is Brixton. He's a ghost. We're gonna need the best trackers in the business. Luke Hobbs.
I'm what you call an ice-cold can of whoop-ass.
Career lawman. Always gets his guy.
Yeah, he just threw that guy into a statue thing.
We're gonna need to operate outside the system. Deckard Shaw.
I'm what you might call a champagne problem.
Rogue former MI6.
So, pretty corny. It's pretty cheesy. It's pretty corny. I don't know that I understand it. The Rock says that he's an ice cold can of whoop ass, and then he beats a bunch of people up. And then Statham says that he was what you would call a champagne problem. I don't actually know what a champagne problem is. But he can beat people up with a bottle of champagne, that much I believe, so we're just going to keep going.
Agent doesn't play well with others. If we stand a chance against Brixton, you guys have to work together.
No way. This guy's a
real ass. So, for some reason, they bleeped out the word asshole. I'm imagining this is going to be geared, at least the trailer is geared towards a PG-13 audience. Which is a kind of a bummer. I would have, I don't know what the rating of the movie is. I would hope it would be a rated R movie. I would like it to be a rated R movie. I imagine you would like it to be a rated R movie. As this trailer stands right now, as I'm like a minute 15, minute 18 in it, I'm feeling like it's going to be a PG-13 movie. I'm feeling like they're going to want to represent this to a bigger audience than the rated R audience. I think that's a bad move on their part. But, yeah. So the dialogue is kind of weird, kind of cheesy, kind of corny. But let's continue.
This job requires stealth.
Okay, that part's sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm trying to save the world, which, for the record, will be my 4th time. Because I'm
Okay, that was freaking awesome.
really good at it.
You have no idea what we're dealing with.
Okay, looks like Idris Elba is gonna be a bit of a difficult problem.
Hobbs and Shaw. You want a war? You've got one.
Okay, so it looks like there's going to be a lot of animation that's going on here. Looks like most of this, you know, car stuff. It doesn't look like, you know, okay, so they're calling this a Fast and Furious movie. It doesn't look like it's going to be that. Looks like it's going to be something different. That doesn't look like the Fast and Furious, doesn't look like anyone's Fast or Furious here, but doesn't look like the Fast and the Furious aspects are going to be the same. It looks like whatever their reason for being in these vehicles is more of a happenstance situation rather than kind of like another Fast and the Furious movie where it's more a part of the plot and it's more about where they come from and who they are, and so it's involved in their everyday life. This seems more of just kind of like, well, you know, we have this tool available to us, so let's use it, or you know, I don't know what all this CGI dune buggy madness is going on. It's not unlike the Fast and Furious movies to use CGI, but I imagine this movie is going to have a lot of CGI in it, because I don't think that it's going to focus much around, you know, Fast and Furious. I don't think it's going to focus much around driving or cars or hot rods or that kind of thing. Anyway, let's continue.
Remember me?
Okay, he just jumped out of a building with a girl basically thrown over his shoulder. So I think superhumans, I think it's safe to say.
On my 3, sure. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, that's actually pretty funny right there. Okay, that's actually terribly funny right there. So, like, every Fast and the Furious movie does this, like, they always do this. So, all the way up until this point, so everything is, like, believable, and you're like, yeah, I could see that happening, or that's okay, that's possible, I guess, up until a certain point, and then you reach this point, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, like, there's no way that's gonna happen. There's no way that's even close to being believable. And that's where we are at right now. So I don't know what to say about that. I guess that's maybe kudos for being consistent. I'm gonna kind of say that's a negative thing, but let's see here. Looks like he's punching the guy in the helmet with his bare hand. Okay, the guy wearing the helmet wouldn't feel a thing. I know this because I've worn a helmet for like years. So I think that's stupid. Okay, so this whole scene is just absolutely ridiculous. Like, how is The Rock actually sliding down the building? Is he just, like, holding on to himself and this guy, he's just holding on to a rope? Like, what about rope burn and, you know, gravity and weight? Yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, it's cool, whatever. It looks like, I'm pretty sure this movie is just going to focus around the chemistry between Hobbs and Shaw. I don't think there's going to be a deep plot here. I don't think there's going to be a huge backstory, which for me is kind of a bummer. If you know me, I'm a huge story guy. I love a deep developed story that we can build off of, especially if you're going to branch off of something else and start a new direction or a new path. You need to really kind of restart the characters over. You really kind of need to take a moment and rebuild the characters and who they are and where they come from and why they're doing what they're doing, and give them a mission and give them a purpose that they can move forward in, and establish some ground rules for them to follow as their characters develop throughout, you know, this movie, but also throughout the other movies that hopefully come after this one. But it looks like this movie is just going to kind of be a bunch of fun and adventure and action, and doesn't look like it's going to be very Fast and the Furious like. Doesn't look like it's going to have that character development involved. So, you know, doesn't look like anything special is going on. We've only got about 20 seconds left, so let's finish this.
3 shocks will kill a man. There we go. It's a bad guy speech.
You had to open your big mouth, didn't you, huh?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool thing to say in the moment.
Okay, so that's actually pretty bad acting there by like all three of them. The Rock, Statham, and Idris. So yeah, the movie's just going to be centered around comedy and the relationship between Hobbs and Shaw, and kind of, you know, their back and forth and their disagreements and their showboating and, you know, trying to prove the other one, you know, one's better than the other one, whatever. So this movie's not, I wouldn't take the movie too seriously. I expect it to be flawed quite a bit, actually. I expect it to be flawed more than I would expect a typical Fast and the Furious movie that's in line with the original series. So I'm not going to hold my breath too much for good ratings on this. Personally, you know, and I'll do a review when the movie comes out in a couple months. But right now, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a heads up. I'm probably gonna rate this movie to be like somewhere like around a 6 out of 10. I think it's just gonna be fun. I don't think it's gonna be that good. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, guys. Let me know what you think. What do you think of the trailer? What do you think about them branching off from the Fast and Furious line? What do you think about them going a completely different direction with it? You know. Oh, something else I wanted to notice. You know, in the other movies, the Hobbs and Shaw that we're used to seeing in the other Fast and Furious movies is completely different than the Hobbs and Shaw that we're seeing right here, right now in this trailer. The Hobbs and Shaw in the Fast and Furious movies that we know previously, they are like serious people. You know, they are on missions and they have jobs and they want to solve problems. And if you're in their way, then get the hell out of the way. I've got a mission to solve. I've got something to do here. They're very motivated. They're very eager, you know, and they're very strong-willed and passionate about what they do and what they believe in. This movie does not look like those two are the same characters. Even though they're the same actors with the same names, it looks like these writers are going to literally change the characters to where they're not like that anymore, to where they're just going to be some kind of, you know, two competitive, you know, high school, college boys or whatever that are just, you know, trying to see, you know, who's got a bigger dick or whatever. This does not look like it's the same characters from the Fast and Furious line, so that's gonna take like an extra hit from me. Because I would expect to see, you know, I would expect the characters to transfer over. I mean, you're going to branch off the same line using the same characters, using the same actors. There's absolutely no explanation for why you would rewrite the characters. So I'm not necessarily, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go watch it. I think it'll be fun, but I just don't think it's going to be that good. Let me know what you guys think. I want to hear it. If you disagree with me, that's totally fine. I disagree with you, so, you know, there's that. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I've got more reviews and more stuff coming out, so guys, stay tuned, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.